All right, Shalom, this is Gamal Ayala of Great Millstone, Atlanta. I want to give all praises to YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the Akim, pushing out the truth and sincerity. It's a quick lesson. All right, it's going to be entitled The Charlie Kirk Aftermath. All right, and I want to do this because there has, in recent news, there has been a lot of tension between so-called black people and white people over this Charlie Kirk situation, recent assassination. All right, where you have, so-called whites, they're in support of Charlie Kirk, and they feel like, it was wrong that he had, been assassinated, and they would agree with a lot of his talking points. As far as things as far as black violence, which I touched on a couple lessons back ago. All right, but that was one of his talking points: is black gang violence, things of that nature. Also, they feel as though people should, it's insensitive to speak on this guy's death, to even celebrate it. Now, so you have so-called blacks on the other hand, you have certain Jakes on the other hand that, they don't give a damn. They're like, yeah, well, to hell with Charlie Kirk, so there's a lot of people that are, as a matter of fact, I believe there was a march with a whole bunch of Jakes and they were chanting F Charlie Kirk. You can look that up. So this is just more division here in America. More division here in America. And this is the Charlie Kirk aftermath, because, there will be a race war. Now, Jacob and Esau is the focal point of a race war, but it's going to be everybody. Everybody's going to be catching hell. Everybody's going to be against everybody, ultimately. All right, it'll be majority black and white, because that's what's gonna cause, the pot to bubble. But ultimately, everybody's gonna, join in, because it's ultimately a divided nation. You have liberals versus conservatives, which, consists of, blacks and white. The conservatives is typically white people, so-called whites, for the majority. But it's reaching to a head. It's reaching to a head is the point, because there's tension. There's a lot of people in support of this guy Charlie Kirk, and they're mad. Matter of fact, there was a girl who a nurse who basically had and there's other people too, but there's people that are speaking out and saying F Charlie Kirk, F him, and F his people, and the lady who birthed him, and this girl, she's going viral now because she lost her job. She had went as a result of her going viral. She lost her job. She was a nurse and whatnot, and and there's other people that are going viral for their certain opinions. So, and that's the age we live in. The age we live in, you can't speak, you can't voice your opinion on things without, getting canceled and, your employer finding out. People are reaching out to employers, and they're getting people fired. They're attempting to get people fired. Okay. According to their views, their viewpoints. That's why you should never, outside of us, our viewpoints are biblical. All of our viewpoints are scriptural. They're based upon the scriptures. But these people, their viewpoints are based upon emotions and their own opinions. But nonetheless, people are getting fired People are up in arms. People are on edge altogether as a whole. All right, and this is the Charlie Kirk effect. All right, it's bubbling up more racial tension here in America. Then you had a recent lynching. Where was that? I can't remember where that lynching was, but that was recent. I believe it was at a college. Was it in Tennessee? Something like that. So racial tension is at an all-time high, and this is spoken of in the scriptures. This is Jacob and Esau. All right, which I'm gonna get. All right, Jacob and Esau, which are they're twin brothers. All right, Genesis 25 and 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. All right, and it says, and the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. So yeah, they were struggling even in the womb. They were fighting even in the womb. You know, she was having a rough pregnancy. It says, and the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. So basically, yeah, you're going to have 2 different nations, you know, in your, you know, that you're going to birth. All right. It says, and the one people shall be stronger than the other, and the elder shall serve the younger. Okay. Yeah. So this was the story of Jacob and Esau. Okay. This is the big origin story. You could say origin story of Jacob and Esau. All right, 2 nations, 2 manner of nations that are going to fight and be enemies. All right. And this is the story today. It's the same story today. All right. Now, here in modern times, all right, according to prophecy, there will be a clash. Okay, there will be a clash between the 2. 2 Ezra 15. Let's see. 15 and 15, it says, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Yeah, so one people is going to be clashes, man. It's going to be racial clashes, political clashes, which is happening now. Racial, political, what else? Just whatever type of clashes there are. Rich versus poor, because the poor are going to attack the rich, and that's where you when you read the next verse, it says, for there shall be sedition among men. Why? Because they're going to come up against the rich people. They're going to come, well, the ruling class, you know, the government. Sedition means basically uprising of the government. And who are the government? They're typically, you know, the higher up individuals. Governments, not only government officials, but the rich. You had that the killing, or you had the assassination about a year ago of that CEO. I can't even remember his company, but if you tapped into the news, you'll know what I'm talking about. But you had that recent assassination of that CEO, and he was shot dead. And but then now the killer. People are coming in support of him. You had a lot of women coming in support of him, which is probably because of his looks, because you had that guy, what's his name, Bundy. You know, so I think they're just, you know. But you have people that are in support of uprising. You have people that are in support of coming up against their rivals' viewpoints by force. That's the age that this is the Charlie Kirk effect, is that now people are willing to die and fight, physically fight for their viewpoints. All right, that's people standing up to fight against another. That's exactly what's going on. People are willing to, they're crashing out, and they're willing to die about it. They're willing to fight about it, man. All right, and this is a very tense and sensitive. I'll say this is a very, you could say sensitive. This is a very sensitive time for America, because anything can happen, anything can pop off, and it's only a matter of time, when all hell will just break loose. This is like a buildup. This is the travail spoken of. This is that travail spoken of in Isaiah. Isaiah 13 and I started 6. How ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand, it shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. And part of that destruction is tension. All right, we're seeing the buildup of that destruction. How do you destroy a society? You tear everyone. Didn't the scripture say the Lord will come with a sword? Okay. And it said that he will come. What did it say? He shall. He said, "I will come not to bring peace, but rather division." All right. Where it says, "It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore all hands shall be faint, and every man's heart shall faint. And they shall be afraid. Pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed at one another. Their faces shall be as flames." And that actually wasn't even the precept I was thinking of, because there's another one. But the point being is that those birth pains. Okay, these birth pains are coming. All right. I can't find it. I'm blanking out, but basically the contractions are getting shorter and shorter. So time, you're having more serious, earth-shaking events on a more frequent basis. So that's pretty much it. I just wanted to touch on those things, and Lord willing, we edified. Giving all praise, honor, and glory to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, Kirk, Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom.